And I tried to change the PIN code on my credit card the other day, and it was a 52-minute phone call. Like, how is that possible? So every level of that's being picked away by a different startup in a different way that we do things. And I think if we looked at the last 10 years, it was the disruption of the media world, right? Like Facebook literally took it by storm. You know, I remember there's this great story where Rupert Murdoch had this meeting and he's like, this Facebook company is like so ridiculous and I can't believe this is getting any press. And 2 years later, he said, "Can we buy this thing?" And they said, "It's worth like $4 billion. I don't think we can afford it anymore." And this is you know, this was the media empire. And so I think the last 10 years was really about our entire definition of media really changing. And I think this next 10 years, we're going to probably see the banks totally change the way that they have to do anything between, you know, what's happening in blockchain, what's happening with all the startups looking at it, what's happening on their side. I think there's, and what's happening on the AI field, right? Like we don't need humans to be crunching data or to be doing back-end offices things. I mean, this is like the entire way the world moves money is going to change. And in AI, there's going to be lots of winner-take-all markets. And in technology, there's been lots of natural monopoly built, right? Like you guys use Google, you don't use any of the other 16 search engines that were built today. And so this idea of winner taking all market is pretty important. And so on those metrics, Canada is lagging. Canada does not have 1/10 of the tech companies that the US does. We have not created that level of new innovation. That has been stifled by a lot of different things we do. Culturally, it is stifled by the way that our government gives out state-run monopolies, or state-run oligopolies, right? So it's like 3 people get to distribute telecom in Canada, and there's gets to be 5 banks, and I mean, you can't create innovation when you have an oligopoly. The only thing that creates innovation is competition, because you have to be better than the next person around. And so I think that Canada still has a lot of work to do. At the same time, there's a huge early community that's grown like total leaps and bounds since this. And so, you know, when I started as an entrepreneur here 10 years ago, I mean, there was no accelerators or incubators or shared office spaces or early stage VCs or money that was going into the ecosystem. Like that has all changed. And you can see it in the numbers. There's a lot more early stage companies, and we need to now graduate those early stage companies into big companies. And doing that is not easy. Getting those companies not to sell early, getting those companies the capital they need to grow is not early. But I think there's that side of the coin that's also really important. We have an incredible education system. We have lots of talented people. It is actually about people just taking more risks.